We're back with more F1 2020, my team here again with the HRT Holloway Racing team. Today it's obviously the big one, I guess the most famous race on the calendar, the Monaco Grand Prix. We're low on cash at the moment, but we have got quite a few weeks yet before we have to sort out contracts, so I think we're alright there for the time being. We're now going to look then to firstly upgrade our power unit, because the other sort of satellite Mercedes teams are getting upgrades on their engine and we are not, so yeah, we need to sort of keep up with them then, so that, you know, we're actually making the most of having a decent power unit here. Unfortunately our aero upgrade failed, our last one, so we're putting that back on. We should hopefully now have well, we're going to have an aero upgrade for Monaco, I think. Maybe, I'm not sure, but we'll have an engine one for Baku, so that's good. I think actually none of these are going to get on the car because I think it's the 24th of May actually, the Monaco Grand Prix, so I think we're just about going to miss it unfortunately with those upgrades there, but we'll have some good upgrades on the car then for Baku. We're going to have at least 3 then, 1 each on the power unit, the aero and the chassis, so that is good. Hopefully start making some good progress then, as we've got nice couple of weeks now then to fill with some activities, so we'll try and improve our department's morale, and also I think we're going to probably try and look to improve our second driver's stats a bit as well, I think, with something if there's anything available, but it doesn't look like there is only the acclaim, so I guess we're just doing that today then. But yeah, nice gap there for us to do some stuff. Not sure I actually even mentioned that we have a new logo as well. I changed it after a few races. I think when I did all the changes for the Netherlands, that's also one I did. I don't think I've actually mentioned that I did that. So yeah, we've got a new logo, which I've had for a few races now. Then here we are then at the Monaco Grand Prix. Obviously a weekend. Always look forward to in real life. Always look forward to playing it as well. It's a shame that we obviously haven't had one in real life this year, even though the races are often quite dull. I still always look forward to that weekend, so it's a shame we didn't have it this year, but at least we have it in the game. Looking like a nice and dry weekend. We were just having a look there at the car development as well, and yeah, I think just once we're able to get some faster upgrades on, that's when we'll start making progress, but really we're just about only keeping up with Haas and the others now then. On to the first practice then. You saw there I was just putting my old engine parts back in for practice, because there's no point using up the new ones now, especially on a track where engine power really isn't that important. But I think we probably will have to put in some of the newer parts in again for qualifying and the race, because they are getting very worn and we don't really want to risk having any kind of engine failures during the race. On then to the first practice programs then, and it's a track I've driven many times, this one, so quite comfortable around here then once I'd done a bit of practice beforehand, so yeah, I was sort of happy with the setup. And actually the one mistake I made in practice was right near the start then, just clipping that inside barrier with my rear tyre, and yeah, there was a bit of a moment there then, but yeah, we managed to pass that objective, and the rest of the programs went quite well until we got to the qualifying one. Once again that was an issue. Now I'm still on 107 here, but I thought I didn't do too badly there, given that I'm on a very worn engine and I'll be probably putting in the newer parts again, so I was thinking that maybe that was a bit too low for us then. So I did actually bump it up another one then, and partly as well because I'm on a wheel, and the wheel is always very good around Monaco, so I was probably gaining like another extra bit of time then against the AI that I wouldn't be normally. So I decided to stick up one higher then, as we now go on a lap then around the Monaco circuit. I had done a lap on mediums earlier on in the session, just to get an idea of how the difficulty was looking and if it was around about right. As you can see, I'm 19th then, ahead of Grosjean, Latifi and someone else then, but so that might still be a bit too easy then if we're doing that on mediums, but we'll have to wait and see then, as around those hairpin, I don't know why, I just don't feel like I ever carry enough speed around there. Like, I know it's obviously a very slow corner, but I always feel like I'm going a little bit too slowly around there. I feel like it's meant to be like 30 mile an hour and I'm always at about 20. But down then into the Nouvelle chicane after the tunnel, very close to the inside barrier there once again. So easy to clip that with the rear tyre, but we managed to get away with it. To back, I don't know why, I quite like this corner on, like this game in particular. I don't ever remember really liking that corner that much, but I've enjoyed going through that every single time on this game so far, so yeah, it's sort of a bit of a change. Running these last few corners then, I've found that like Rascast and then the final corner are where the wheel gains a lot, sort of historically, but nonetheless then, that lap time puts us 10th, although we are only just ahead of Magnussen, so I think it's maybe a case of a lot of midfield drivers aren't setting as good as lap times as they maybe could. Certainly Verstappen, Ocon, Norris, Fiat, I think Gasly's behind us as well. I think all those drivers could improve, so whilst it may look like we're a bit higher than we should be, I mean we are, but it's more because they haven't performed as well. And unfortunately I didn't perform very well on my final qualifying lap either, because I completely lit at the rear tyres then out of the Nouvelle chicane there, and that really put an end to that lap being any good. But nonetheless then, not many of those behind us improved, so we still ended up then in 12th position at the end of qualifying, so that was, I think, a very solid result there. And as you can see, we're only just ahead of Magnussen in the Haas, so I think that we probably are where we should be in terms of pace here, like with the AI level, like just finding AlphaTauri just ahead of a Haas. And I think it was more of a case that Norris, Ocon, and yeah, maybe Fiat as well didn't really set as fast lap times as they maybe should have. Probably Alfa Romeos as well down there. As yeah, we got some more points then over Grosjean in our rivalry there, so that's good. That's going to help our acclaim, which is now up to, I think, level 5 visit, or I think we may just be short there. As I said, it's going to be a while until we get more sponsors, because I think you need to be level 10 for that. But yeah, it's looking like a dry race then for the Monaco Grand Prix, the team's first Monaco Grand Prix, and we shall head into it now.
Formula One returns to Monte Carlo once again today, home to the world-famous Monte Carlo Casino, first opened in 1863. And, of course, a certain road race, first held here in 1929. There's no greater an occasion, no more valuable a win than the Monaco Grand Prix. We're on the French Riviera once more this weekend at the 2-mile-long Circuit de Monaco. The cars climb around 40 metres up through Beau Rivage, onto the casino, and then descending down towards the harbour through Sector 2. It's a very short run from pole position to the first of the 19 corners here, 7 to the left and 11 to the right. There's one single DRS zone as well, so don't expect that to make overtaking any easier today. Joining us today to oversee all the thrills and spills, it's Anthony Davidson. And great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today, and how are the circuit conditions from what you've seen?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The fence starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Albon, Daniel Ricciardo, and Vettel, Stroll, Sainz, Perez, and Max Verstappen. Gasly, the scientist, Kevin Magnussen, and Norris, Fiat, Ocon, George Russell, and Antonio Giovinazzi. Raikkonen, Ireland, Grosjean, and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
So, predictably, the strategy for this race is going to be a one-stop. Interestingly, we're starting on the medium tyres then, and then going over to the hards at the end. Obviously, the top 10 are all going to be locked into the soft tyres, so that'll be interesting then, depending on what the cars around us will decide starting as well, because if everyone else is on mediums as well, then that's going to throw a bit of a spanner in the works, I think, for some of the soft tyre runners, because they'll have to pit earlier, and then they will come out into a lot of traffic, you would think. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. It looks like everyone around us is indeed on the medium tyres, so yeah, we'll have to wait and see then how that will play out then. So we are lined up on the grid now then. I don't think I actually mentioned Max Verstappen there, only 10th. That's very surprising. So yeah, he's obviously out of position. We've got the lights coming on now. away we go then for the Monaco Grand Prix. We've had a very good launch there. We're passing Gasly and we're going to pass, I think, Verstappen, are we? We're side by side into turn 1. We're going round the outside and we have made it through, have we? We're going into overtake now then. See if we can stay ahead then up towards Massenet. Verstappen then goes round the outside. We brushed the wall there slightly, and then I think Verstappen actually may have brushed the wall there for Casino Square, and we managed to get ahead of him. So great start for us there, up into the points already, and that is certainly not what Verstappen needed there then, because he's, as well, especially because he's on the soft tyres. So yeah, that is very, very bad news then for the Red Bull driver. But for us, it's a fantastic start, up to 10th place and straight away when we're looking at the back of Sergio Perez in the racing point there. Into overtake, but just no straight on speed whatsoever to live with that racing point then down the straight, even though we're in a similar engine performance. But yeah, just couldn't do anything there. Obviously I'm running quite high aero, so that's probably playing a part as well. We see a replay then of that start, and it's Bottas then, I don't think I actually mentioned that either, on pole, and he made a fantastic start there. But for us, we also made a good start. Went past Gasly and then went around the outside of Verstappen as well. He came back at us up the hill, but then we had the inside line then for Massenet, but Verstappen held on there. But then I think he sort of messed up the line a bit there for Casino Square, almost went into the inside barrier, and that allowed us to get through and back up the place. As we see then, Verstappen didn't have a good start, and he went to cover Gasly, I think, and that just left us with a nice gap there on the outside that we were just able to drive straight around the outside of him there and take the position. So that worked out very nicely for us, as yeah, he's tried to hang on, but yeah, just around the outside here then it looked like he may have had it, but then just clipped that inside barrier, I think, or got very close to it anyway, and then that allowed us to get through. We see then the start from Bottas, and that is just perfect from pole position there then, straight into the lead, no threat whatsoever, and yeah, he was clear then at the start. We skip on to lap 6 now then, where we're still maintaining good pace then with these back end of the points runners then. Verstappen right on the back of us as well, as you'd expect, but we're just not able to get close enough really to think about making an overtake then. Even with DRS, even with overtake or rich mix, we're just not getting close enough at all then down any of these very short straights here at Monaco. And skipping a few more laps then, we're still very close then. Obviously, I think the soft tyres are going off at this point, so that's playing into our hands a bit, being on the mediums. And yeah, now we're just thinking about if there's any chance we can actually make a move here then. We're very, very close then out of Portier. We're climbing all the way over the back of the racing point, but just we're barely gaining anything in the slipstream. Can we go for a lunge into the Nouvelle chicane? We think about it, but just not quite close enough there. And that was very similar to, I think, to Perez and Raikkonen, I think, back in 2013, but we were smart enough to back out of that one then, unlike I guess Perez was on that occasion. But skipping to the next lap then, and some of the soft tyre runners are finally coming in then. So that was Perez in, Sainz, I think, Vettel and Hamilton as well. But I think actually Hamilton has managed to get out ahead of us then. So yeah, Hamilton then is not going to be affected, I don't think, by the medium tyre traffic, but I think a lot of people behind are, like such as Sainz, Perez, they're all going to get hurt quite a bit, and that could really play into our hands, because once Stroll pits in front of us here, we're going to have a nice bit of clear track in front of us and really be able to push a bit more then, as we now pass him then, and the last few of the soft tyre runners to come in. And Bottas then from pole, he's somehow ended up behind again. He's not only behind Hamilton, but he's also going to be in the queue of medium tyre runners, so it's gone wrong for him once again here. It just seems to be a bit of a running theme in this career mode that just nothing will go right for Bottas. What happened this time then? He comes in for a stop, and then they hold him for a very long time there. There was surely a gap for him to be released and avoid the path of Albon and Leclerc, I think it was. And Hamilton then, he's pulled out a massive gap over the rest of the field then. He's 26 seconds clear of us. He must be about half a minute clear of Bottas, just because he got into that clear air, and everyone else ended up in the train with the medium tyre runners. And it looked like it was finally going to be redemption day for Valtteri Bottas, and instead Hamilton has now ended up half a minute clear at the front of the field. So another well, disaster then for Bottas, but he is still in second place and should be after he stops. But for us though, out of the pits. Are we going to jump anyone? Looks like we've jumped Perez here then. We didn't quite get Sainz. We're ahead of Stroll as well, but Latifi, he could thwart our plans here then, but we just about thankfully managed to get ahead of him then, running outside of Massenet, using our overtake there. But we have made that strategy work then on the medium tyres. We've jumped the racing points. That is very good for us there then. We see a replay. Latifi then, obviously he's out of sync with everyone else, but he nearly a bit of a spanner in the works there then. Verstappen is still there behind as well, I just noticed on the replay. And Latifi then, I think he was going to the inside line a bit there, but then he slowed down because we were coming out of the pits and that just allowed Sainz to go through. So we may well have had Sainz as well there if Latifi had driven a bit better down the pit straight there. But anyway, we're past the racing points at least, and obviously we're just waiting for the last few to pit now then. Oilot, Gasly and a couple of others are coming in as well now then, the medium tyre runners, and that will put us then in 8th position with no one else yet left to pit. So on for maybe a nice haul of points here again. Everyone else seems to be on mediums around us then. We're on the hards, as will everyone else who started on the mediums. So hopefully they'll come back to us at the end of the race then, once the medium tyres start to drop off, and hopefully we'll have a bit more pace at the end on the hards. As we skip a few more laps then, Antonio Giovinazzi is out of the race, and we've got a safety car then, so they'll bench everything up, and Gasly is also out, so we'll have to see what's happened there then. But obviously that massive lead that Hamilton had is going to be completely eradicated then, as Giovinazzi then stopped with a car problem, and it doesn't look like there was anything to do with Gasly there, and it was just a complete coincidence. They broke down at almost the exact same moment at different times, well, different places on the track there, so that was a bit of a bizarre coincidence there then, but it's given us a safety car. And Ocon there, very very lucky not to get any damage from that, because he hit that AlphaTauri there with quite a bit of force, I thought. But this goes to show just how massive a lead that Hamilton had. It was lap 26 when the safety car came out, it's lap 30 and we're only just catching the queue, so that just goes to show really how far ahead Hamilton was in this race. I think he may well have even lapped us had it not been for that safety car, and if the traffic hadn't played up too much for him. So that just goes to show really how much he gained on that pit stop phase. But obviously that's all been wiped away now then with the safety car. For some reason the frame rate went really bad during the safety car as well. I don't know what that was all about, but as you'll see in a minute when we go back to green flag racing, it just immediately fixes itself, as we are now green again. And we'll see if we can do anything at this restart, but all we managed to do there is nearly throw it in the barriers, unfortunately, so we're not going to be close to Sainz, but we thankfully managed to not lose any positions there and not hit the wall. So we're still in 8th place, which is good. We hopefully will not throw us away now then, with only 9 laps to go then, just under. So looking pretty good here for some more points, as long as we can keep it on the road. The medium tyres will probably last to the end now then, with that safety car period, with obviously a few laps not pushing. So I think we're really just going to have to try and not make any mistakes, and hopefully no one will be able to get close enough to pass us behind then. So yeah, I think we're probably going to stay here then, as it's not looking like we're really catching Sainz there at all with Rich and overtake there. Latifi then a lap down. We were nearly racing him for position at one point, but he's ended up a lap down then, and he seems to be causing a bit of havoc here then for some of these cars. Ricardo there having a bit of an issue there, getting past, and so was Sainz. Now he's going to block us as well in the swimming pool section, so that's not ideal, but we managed to get through thankfully. For some reason in this game, I don't know why it is, because it's been in the last few as well, you can unlap yourself when you're behind a safety car, but the AI can't. It's really weird. I don't know why that is the case, but it's ruined Latifi's race, and it's also unfortunately ruined our teammates' race, because we're about to lap him as well then. So it's been another rather dismal day unfortunately for Callum Oilot there. He is out qualified I think by Russell in the Williams, and he's going to be, well, completely outraced by him as well then, and we've lapped him as well just to add a bit of insult to injury there. And as I expected then, not anything else happening really for those final 8 or 9 laps there. Yeah, Sainz pulled away from us then. We just stayed in 8th place. Our tyres held up quite nicely, and so did the medium tyre runners as well. But it's going to be another very solid haul of points then here today, so I'm very happy about that. As at the final corner we're going to come then, it's going to be another very solid result here then, as we are going to finished then the Monaco Grand Prix in 8th position.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
It's the one that everyone wants to win, and they've only gone and done it. What a fantastic result here at Monaco. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
You might notice this on the graphic right at the end of the race on the final lap, but behind us on the final lap we had Perez here then, had a bit of a moment out of the Nouvelle chicane. Verstappen was right on the back of him and he actually went for a bit of a lunge there into the back. They somehow managed to avoid having an accident there, but they were almost side by side in the swimming pool section. And then through the second part, Verstappen leaping over the curb, and it looks like he may just have done enough there to take the position. Perez is still on the inside line, but Verstappen's holding on, running outside. And Verstappen, on the final few corners there, managed to nick 9th position then off of Sergio Perez. And there you see what the problem was. Perez lighting up the rear tyres out of the Nouvelle chicane, and that was all that Verstappen needed then to pounce there, and he managed to nick a point there. It's not been a good weekend for the Dutch driver, but he's managed to salvage an extra point out of it then with that very opportunistic move there right at the end, and somehow they did not collide. Yeah, that was pretty incredible actually that they managed to get away with that. There are the final results, and Lewis Hamilton taking the win in the end. It could have been a very, very dominant one had it not been for that safety car, but obviously he was also helped into the lead as well by that slow stop for Valtteri Bottas, who finished in second. It's a first career podium then for Alexander Albon in third, and Charles Leclerc at his home race was fourth, ahead of his teammate Sebastian Vettel. There's Ricciardo, Sainz, us in 8th place, Verstappen and Sergio Perez then rounding out the points. And looking further down then, we're going to see that once again it wasn't the best day at all then for our teammate Callum Ilott. 19th and a lap down then with that result, only ahead of Nicholas Latifi in the end. And yeah, George Russell then having a very good result there, actually beating Raikkonen and Grosjean as well, with what's it, Giovinazzi and Gasly retirements. Hamilton then extends his championship lead with Charles Leclerc in second and Vettel in third. Bottas does move up a place then today, at least to 5th. We move up to 10th place and ahead of Esteban Ocon into the top 10 in the championships. That's very good for us then. And in the constructors, Mercedes pull away then from Ferrari even further then, and we stay in 7th place then. The only other change then was McLaren overtook Racing Point then for 5th place today, with some good points on the board for them, and Haas and Williams are still yet to get off the mark this season.
So that was an exciting race from our perspective. Let's have yours. Did you struggle to get through all that traffic today? It's safe to say you're smashing everyone's expectations, isn't it? Appreciate your time.
So another successful weekend then for us and the team. I think managed to do well as well again in our rivalry against Grosjean as well. I think we're getting quite close then to managing to beat him there. 3 races remaining according to that. Our driver acclaim then's gone up to level 5, so we're actually catching up to Callum Ilott quite quickly now then. Nice bit of team acclaim there as well, getting close to level 8 as well, so that's good. A nice bit of cash as well from our sponsors, because we managed to beat those goals again. maybe we need to try and be a bit more ambitious with those, try and get a bit more ambitious sponsor maybe, because I think one of them is now about to run out. So yeah, maybe see about getting a bit more of a ambitious one on the car maybe for the next one, but we'll have to wait and see then. That's it then for this episode, the Monaco Grand Prix. Thank you for watching it, hope you enjoyed. Next time it's another street race then, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix at the Baku City Circuit. Thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.